Hi, welcome to Coffee with Carrie. Here's your host, Carrie Lazat.
Welcome to Coffee with Carrie. I'm Carrie Lazat. I'm the director of cable and community relations for Bloomfield Township. And I haven't done the show in a month, can you tell? So here we are in our new podcast studio, and I'm really excited to have with me today Gayle Sadler, who is our director of information technology, IT.
Thank you for having me, Carrie. I'm really excited. We always work behind the scenes, so it's nice to get out in front of a camera for a change.
Yes, well, and I have to tell you, IT has a special place in my heart, because when I was at Comerica, before I even really knew what IT was, or information, the CIO, and how they kept everything going. You know, they're not the ones that ever get the, the big award, the awards or the recognition, because they're just the ones keeping things going all the time. But they were my best client when, internally, as far as making communication and video. So
That's nice. I always say, I don't know if you remember the old commercial, is it BASF? We don't make the products you use, but we make the products you use better. Mm-hmm. We don't provide the services directly to the residents, but we help them provide them in a better manner, more efficiently, with greater customer satisfaction is what we all shoot for here.
Right. Keeping the trains running on time, right? That's
right.
What I remember as being how we talked about that.
Making sure the phones work, making sure everything behind the scenes gets done so they can have that good interaction.
Mm-hmm, right. Yeah. And I have to say that whenever I think of you, I also think of like all the women in World War II who were working behind the scenes and were the spies and that got all the information and knew how to make things happen. There's been movies like that. And so you remind me of that, because I feel like, people don't always, they might look at you and not know how smart you are.
Wow.
I think.
I like that.
Like a spy.
We do. We have to. A lot of it is figuring things out, paying attention to what's going on, looking for patterns, trends. Mm-hmm. Why is this not working now and it did before? What other things are intersecting with that now? And obviously, IT is no different than the world now. The only thing constant is change.
Yeah.
And
right.
so we're always responding to that push and pull of technology. Mm-hmm. So it's a great place to be. I mean, it's exciting. It's always something new, and I really enjoy it.
Always changing, right?
Always changing.
So it looks like you went to school at Lawrence Tech, right down the street.
Yeah.
So and you got a degree in engineering technology, and it looks like you did some studies in construction engineering, which isn't what you're doing now. So tell me, what has been the path from the time when you went to school, and things have changed so much. The opportunities have changed a lot too. So tell me a little bit about your path.
Right. When I was initially in school, there wasn't an IT degree, right? It was. It started out as a tool that you needed to do our construction and engineering projects. So I initially worked for a developer while I was going to school, and then I was hired by our consultant that we had used. They're like, well, we'd love to have you join us and start working on our computer-aided design and a lot of the technology things. So it was a great opportunity. I already knew my bosses because they knew me. So I was hired over to do consulting engineering. So I did project management for many different municipalities, including the township. So worked all over southeastern Michigan, helping them implement all kinds of technology and water, road, typical civil engineering projects. So it was a great way to get to meet the township, and I also got to meet the supervisor, Fred Corzon, and his assistant, Dave Payne, and the engineering director at the time, Wayne Dominy, and they said, would you come and work for us? So I've never looked for a job since I've been a very young person, but I've had these opportunities where people, wanted me to come and work for them. So it was a great opportunity. And so I came here, and it's been constantly evolving, but it's been a great challenge. And I've worked with 4 different supervisors.
So how long have you been here?
23 years that it'll be.
All right.
Yeah, and I was a consultant for 9 years before that for here.
So tell me, what is, when people are looking for a job, what's different or special about working for government compared to working for a public organization, like a private organization or a corporation?
In the government, especially a small local government, we have a very small staff, so you have to really learn to be a jack of all trades. You have to be very flexible. You have to be able to learn many different kinds of technology. We have 13 different departments here, so you're supporting anything from senior centers to the cable studio, to police and fire, and the outstations, the vehicle, computers in the vehicles. It's a very broad scope. It's not like you're a sales office with, a couple different software packages. We have hundreds of different packages, hundreds of different types of devices. So you've got to really get in there and figure it out. Be willing to do research, to work with other municipalities. There's a lot of collaboration, which is one of the parts I really enjoy. Collaborating with departments,
Right.
like helping you guys put your new podcast studio together. It's fun, it's different, you know, and obviously helping all the departments, do the best they can most efficiently.
Managing our storage. So,
Managing your
I feel
storage,
like your
yeah.
department is kind of like, well, it's one of the magic departments because I just, when you're trying to, if you're working on your own, as I ran my own business for a while, or, you have to do everything by yourself. And here, to come in and be like, well, we need a new internet cable in this other room, and then magically, as if by magic it happens, or we order the, new hire needs a new computer, it just appears with all of the software, essentially, whatever we need, it all gets done for us. So what is the rest of the scope of what you manage, besides what I see as your internal consumer?
Oh, that's a really good question. Under IT, I'm responsible for 3 different main areas. Information services, which is kind of what you're talking about, the network, the storage, the cybersecurity, all the devices, computers, laptops, things like that, printers. And then we also are responsible for communications, which is the radio system, the 911 dispatch
right.
area.
That's huge.
It's huge, and it's on call 24/7. Most of our customers are 24/7. Police and fire by far are the majority of the people we serve. But we also do all the cell phones and the phone system, building security cameras, building security, the cameras, the door locks. You think of a new employee starting, we start from the very beginning. We give them the user access. We give them their proximity card to get in the building. Everything they need to start. And another area a lot of people aren't familiar with, and it's one of the reasons I came here initially, was to start the geographic information system. So if you think about a township,
the mapping,
yes, and it used to be hard copies maps, right? But everything in the township has a geographic location, whether it's a hydrant, or a person's water meter, or a snowplow going along its route. So we take advantage of that to help provide more efficiencies in whether we're planning things, whether we're trying to pull up information for residents. We have a geographic information system that is a software on basically everyone in the township's computer. It's the most used software of any within the township. So you can go to that property, you can pull up, for instance, engineering. We have the engineering scans there. So if they need to look to see, okay, where is that water line? Where is that water meter to shut off? From their desks, they can do that. And then they can send that to a mobile unit, either with a screenshot or some way to get that information out very quickly. Instead of back in the old days, you had to go out and find the job and pull up the drawer.
And because we're residential, this is extra, right? Extra important, I guess?
It's extra important. We're 90% residential in the township. And we can also do pre-incident planning where you put information out there, building plans for the commercials, so that when they go out to respond to a fire, they have that floor plan available on their tablets in the vehicles. So there's a lot of things we can do to technology to provide better services.
Right, and it's constantly evolving. So we are live, and then this gets rebroadcast on our cable stations, and then always available on YouTube. And we do have a comment, and I'm just going to read it because it is kind of exciting to get a comment. But I don't know. This is from Todd. Why does Comcast refuse a senior discount that they promise? So I think that's a question actually from our department, my department. You guys have nothing to do with that, right? It's our cable department is the ones
The franchise is responsible for
right,
that.
the franchise for that. So I do appreciate that comment, and if you can send us a message.
I appreciate his picture.
That's right. It's fun, isn't it? But thank you for commenting, Todd. And if you want to send us a comment to, I think it's the cable_department at Bloomfield.
But if you go to the website.
Right.
If you go to the website, you get the link.
Then you can send us a message and we can follow up on that, because I'm not sure. And I actually think that the whole like serving seniors is one of the like programming areas that we can improve on as far as hooking up cable. Because I know my mother's 80 and she lives in Birmingham, and I'm always trying to, provide tech support to seniors, essentially.
Right, right.
Yeah. Do you manage any of that for your family?
Oh,
Tech support?
You go for a holiday party and they want you sequestered in their study to fix something.
But you just do this one quick thing for me?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty good at saying, I'm kind of off the clock right now.
Right. I'm sure. So what kind of recommendations do you have for people that, as far as as technology evolves and how they can manage things at home? I always tell people, like, backing things up, if their computer's slow, that it's probably because they don't have external storage, and that they should have it not just on one external drive, they need to back it up on 2 drives. So any tips like that for people?
I'd say storage is a big one. It's very sad when people lose all of their family photos or something of that nature now that so many things are digital. So maybe looking at a cloud-hosted storage solution, backing it up to that, is always a good idea. I would say the main thing I think about is cybersecurity, though, because at home, you're just as vulnerable as our employees are here in the office. When you get an email in, treat it like somebody coming to your door. You don't let somebody come in your door, go and sit down on your couch, and then ask them what they're doing here. You scrutinize that in every single email you get, phone call, text. Ask yourself, who is this? Do I know them? Am I expecting this? Click later. You can always click later. So many things seem urgent. They're not urgent.
Right. Is this phishing? This
It's
is phishing you're talking
phishing
about.
Phishing with a PH. Yeah, it's phishing. And then there's spear phishing that they learn enough about you to make it sound very plausible.
Spear phishing, is that next level
and
phishing?
that's very
Okay.
common, especially for financial institutions or things like that. They know that you bank with a certain bank, and they tailor it to you. So it's probably it's estimated 60 to 80% of cybersecurity breaches are a direct result of a successful phishing attempt.
And a lot of people are trying to do it.
Oh, it's so lucrative. It's the best moneymaker out there, I think, for crime now. I don't know what the exact statistics are, but I think it's more lucrative than pretty much anything, and you can do it from home in your pajamas, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
It's just too easy. And there's always a new exploit. You're always kind of catching up to that. So patching, keeping your computer up to date, working with a current operating system so you're not behind the times.
Yeah. So tell me what's coming for the township. What are we going to be doing in the future? Like, where do we need to spend our money in?
We need to spend our money in many different areas. Budget is always a driving force in a local government, as is with any business, right? So we had a long period of time with budget deficits. Went through the housing bubble that significantly impacted us, the Great Recession. So we're just starting to pull out of that.
Yeah.
And that means years and years where we weren't investing to the level in technology, particularly just speaking for myself, that we would have really liked to and wanted to.
Right.
So reinvesting in the technology, I think reinvesting in our employees, that is a big thing. We are understaffed. We're trying to attract the best and brightest, and that's a challenge. It's a challenge for everybody in the markets now. You have more job openings than you do have applicants, and particularly in IT or any skilled trade.
Yeah.
If you want to get somebody that can actually hit the ground running,
Right.
and have the skills they profess that they do,
Sure.
it's very difficult. And you want somebody, because the learning curve is so large, and there's such a breadth of information to know here, that if it's just a constant turnover, you're only constantly training. I have 3 IT people and a part-time GIS on-site consultant. That's it.
That's
for
it.
All of for
Wow.
everything we do. So we have to be fully independently functioning, running, self-directed, and you need a person that can do that.
Yeah.
So that's a challenge, I think, for all the departments. Police and fire, I think you've already talked about that with them. It's a challenge. I was just at a cybersecurity meeting with IT people from all over the state, and multiple states actually, and a lot of they asked people what their main concern was, and a lot of it was about identity management being security. But the biggest thing was staffing.
Right.
It's great if you have the best software in the world to do intrusion detection, but if you don't have somebody who knows how to use that and to monitor it, you know,
You can't do it.
it's
You
the
can't use
people.
the tools,
Yeah,
right? It's
and we're-
always the people.
Yeah, and what are we in the township? I think we're 80% is employee cost because you can't provide services without people,
Yeah.
right?
Yes.
And that's where I think we need to do a lot of investment.
Well, I know that it's been really wonderful working with you and getting to know everybody on
Thank
the team.
you.
And so I hope that our audience has gotten to know you a little bit in our conversation today. And anything else that you'd like to add?
No, I just like to say if you're looking for a job, the township is a great place. I've worked with so many different people. I don't even know, 30 different department heads, 4 different supervisors, 7 different police chiefs. Everybody brings something new and exciting to the table. And if you'd like to join us,
Yes, please
check us
do.
out. Check out on the
Please
website. I
join
know
us.
we've got job postings. And, you know, the employees here are awesome. They are the ones that make the difference.
It does, and it's just a different feel than working. I've worked in a corporate world before, and it's just a different environment.
It's a
And-
service focus.
Yes.
You are a public servant, and we take a lot of pride in that.
Yes, right. Well, thanks, Gayle.
Well, thanks, and it's great having you.
All right, everybody. We'll see you next time on Coffee with Carrie. Thanks for joining us.